Okay, so obviously the Cowboys and the Eagles, in my opinion, are the two teams that are the class of the NFC East. I think that it's pretty obvious. I think there's a gap between Washington and New York between those teams. You can pick or choose who you want to have as the division winner. I have Philadelphia winning the division once again. I have them going. I think an appropriate record for Philadelphia is about 11-5, and I already talked about Dallas. I have them going 9-7 this year, potentially being a playoff team, but probably not. But either way, I want to talk about the two teams at the bottom of the division, the Giants and the Redskins. Obviously they're two teams that last year drafted young quarterbacks. The Giants surprised the world and drafted Daniel Jones. Personally, I wasn't surprised they drafted Daniel Jones, but where they drafted him, I was like, what? Really? But again, there was some reports that Miami kind of wanted, Daniel Jones maybe. Denver was looking at him. So again, if you like a quarterback, you take him at 6. Honestly, Dave Gettleman, all right, I'll let you have that. I'll let you do what you gotta do. And then obviously the Redskins, they get Dwayne Haskins. He falls to them. I felt he was a steal. I felt that Kyler Murray and Dwayne Haskins were neck and neck for the best quarterback in the draft this past year. So, look, obviously, both teams I don't think are making the playoffs this year. Both teams are still rebuilding. I think the Giants' identity is more on offense with Saquon, with Andrew Thomas, who they drafted to improve the offensive line. Darius Slayton is a pretty solid wide receiver. Evan Ingram's okay. They do have decent defensive players that are young. Dexter Lawrence, DeAndre Baker. I like the Bradbury pickup. I think that Martinez can help them in the linebacker core. And Joe Judge, let's just say we'll wait and see with Joe Judge. He's young. He comes from the Bill Belichick tree. He says all the right things, but I gotta wait and see with him. Now, obviously, the Redskins, I think they're more of a defensive-minded team. With Chase Young coming in, Chase Young was by far the best player in the draft, in my opinion. That defensive line is scary. I do think the Redskins will be one of the top 10 defenses next year because of the defensive players they brought in and because of the talent they have. I know they have a lot of defensive line talent. It did not work out last year, but we saw the 49ers, when they added that dude, that generational talent, Nick Bosa, everything started to click. And I think that Chase Young has the potential to be better than Nick Bosa. And we both, follow Ohio State football pretty well, so we know how legit Chase Young is. Obviously, Dwayne Haskins, had an up and down rookie season. Daniel Jones definitely outperformed him this past year. But I think Haskins has the potential to pass Daniel Jones. I do believe his ceiling is higher. I worry about his lack of mobility. I think that he's athletic enough. He's more of your Big Ben Roethlisberger, where he's going to move and slide in the pocket, but he's not going to take over a game with his legs. But again, Big Ben Roethlisberger won 2 Super Bowls, so I can work with that. Okay, so who do you think is the one team in that division besides the Eagles that could give the Giants problems down the road? Who are you more scared of? Dwayne Haskins, Daniel Jones? If I'm a Cowboys fan personally, I'd be more worried about the Redskins simply because of that defensive line. Anytime you have a unit like that, they can just take over and win you games playing defense by themselves. And again, Dwayne Haskins, the final 3 games, he had 5 touchdowns to 1 interception. He got better and better as the season went on, despite having bad coaching, a coach that did not want him, a terrible offensive line. And again, he started 1 year of college football. We saw Peyton Manning struggle his rookie year. We saw Troy Aikman struggle his rookie year. So I think that Haskins can become a great quarterback in the league. It's just going to take time. I do think that Ron Rivera is a better head coach than Joe Judge and more proven. So are you more scared of the Giants or the Redskins going forward?
Going forward, I think I agree with you. I think the Redskins are a better team. Obviously, they got that generational player that I feel like in Chase Young. And that defensive line, like you said, was already good last year. They had added, I think, Jonathan Allen, they added last year. So, that defense is really good. They added Ronald Darby. They have Kendall Fuller. They lost Quentin Dunbar this year, but they definitely, filled his loss. Y'all know how high I was on Quentin Dunbar. He had a pretty good season.
the Amari Cooper video, but go ahead.
But their defense is really good. And then Dwayne Haskins on the offensive side, Terry McLaurin had a really good season. Antonio Gibson, somebody they drafted in the draft, really good out of Memphis. Since I go to Cincinnati, I got a chance to see him firsthand, and he's really good. So they got some depth in their in their running back situation because Darius Guice, we thought he was going to be the man this year, and then he got hurt again. So we're going to see if he can stay healthy. But and then like I said, Dwayne Haskins, I feel like he has a higher ceiling than Daniel Jones. I don't think last year he he didn't have a good season. I'm just gonna say it that way. Him taking selfies after a win that he didn't even throw a touchdown in. It was kind of questionable, but he did. He picked it up late in the season. But that Giants offense has some firepower as well. Daniel Jones picked it up last year. Like you said, Darius Slayton. Obviously, Saquon Barkley is a beast. Evan Ingram is nice. They're both up and coming teams. But as far as who's going to be better goes, I feel like you got to give it to the Redskins. They got a lot of young talent over there, and I really didn't want them to draft Chase Young this year. I really want them to be dumb. Take Andrew Thomas, get Dwayne Haskins some protection. Go that way instead of getting that generational talent. I'd much rather go to y'all division than ours. But we're gonna see him this year, and we're definitely gonna know his name by the end of the year.
Yeah, I think that Gibson dude is pretty good. The Antonio Gibson dude they drafted, I think he's really good. I think that he's more of the Paris Campbell type running back, sort of. I think that Paris Campbell's more of a wide receiver, but again, more of your hybrid guy. You can spread him out wide. You can catch passes out of the backfield. He can obviously, run in between the tackles a little bit too. So I like that pick. There's some versatility there. The Gandy Golden pick, that was a pretty good pick too. The guy out of Liberty, I think that he can come in and contribute very well. I think Terry McLaurin is really slept on, man. He's really good. I think that he has some special traits. Steven Sims is okay. I do worry about the offensive line, but again, I think that now that Dwayne Haskins has Ron Rivera there, I think that'll help him because the Redskins, they've had a lot of coaching changes, and the Giants have had some coaching changes too. I trust Ron Rivera more than Joe Judge. I'm not saying Joe Judge is going to be a bad coach, but he's really young. He's got a whole new roster that he's dealing with. It's just going to take time. And Dave Gettleman and the Giants are kind of on the hot seat. So if Joe Judge doesn't perform very well as a coach, the next couple of years, he could get actually fired. I was very surprised to read those reports. I think you got to give Joe Judge and that staff a little bit of time, but I trust Ron Rivera. I think that he's worked with a quarterback similar to Dwayne Haskins and Cam Newton. The big time arm guy out of college. Haskins threw 50 touchdowns at Ohio State. Cam Newton, we saw what he did at Auburn. Big time personalities, a little bit immature coming out, but I think that Dwayne Haskins will at least have some stability as his head coach, the next couple of years. And I like what the Redskins are doing. The Giants could prove me wrong. It's all going to be dependent on Joe Judge and Daniel Jones, and we shall see. You agree?
Yeah. I think the Redskins could be a very dangerous team this year, just depending on the kind of leap that Dwayne Haskins makes. It depends on what he's going to do this year. If he can make a big leap and become that franchise quarterback and that great quarterback that he was at Ohio State, then they're going to be a very dangerous team, a sneaky team in the NFC East that could, take off. I think they're very dangerous. I got my eye on them for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think that they could probably win 7 games. I think 8 is a stretch just because I don't think they have enough offensive firepower to win enough games, but I think that Haskins isn't going to score a whole lot of points. I think the defense will keep games manageable. Ron Rivera will make that team competitive. That's one thing the Redskins kind of were not the last couple of years with Jay Gruden. They just weren't really competitive. I think that he kind of lost the locker room a little bit. So, yeah, we shall see. I do think that Daniel Jones is a franchise quarterback. I think that he has some potential. But if I'm going to choose a quarterback, I got to roll with Dwayne Haskins. I debated my guy Fitz Vegas on this. He thinks the Giants will make the playoffs next year and that Daniel Jones is this next great quarterback. I got to wait and see. But either way, I do like the direction both those quarterbacks are going in. But slight edge to Haskins and the Redskins, I would say. And Chase Young, he's a monster. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. and I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.